Have you ever spent the night in a tent in an African village? Or have you ever seen a woman carrying a 14-foot-long tree trunk on her head, a baby tied on her back, and a large sack of vegetables in her hand? Or carrying a stalk of bananas on her head, or a large tub of any kind of tropical fruit, or a suitcase, or a closed umbrella, or a 55-gallon drum? I hope it was empty. Have you ever had your shoes shined by an 8-year-old boy for about 10 cents? Or seen a 3-year-old girl filleting fish with a sharp knife? Have you ever seen a woman cut, peel, slice, and dice everything with her handy-dandy machete? Have you ever eaten fish sauce over rice with the fish heads in the sauce? Or had fish sauce for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Have you ever had chicken sauce with the chicken heads and feet in the sauce, and you were given the head because you were the guest of honor? Have you ever seen a man catch a bush rat in a tree in front of your house and catch it by the tail, grab it, and slam its head against the porch and say, supper? Have you ever stood at the door of the church shaking hands as the people left? Every hand felt like rawhide leather, and every grip felt like a lumberjack, and that was just the women. Have you ever had a poisonous snake inside your screened front porch? Have you ever heard a monitor lizard hiss at you? Have you ever had your dogs blinded by a spitting cobra or killed green mambas in your yard? Have you ever seen children scramble to gather up little piles of termites and then eat them, spitting out the wings and saying, "Oh, they're so sweet"? Have you ever been given a goat that was worth about a month's wages? Have you ever been given a live chicken by someone that you knew was so poor that they rarely ate meat, and this was their only chicken? Have you ever felt humbled because an older man knelt down to brush the dust off of your shoes? Have you ever listened to the screams of one of your best friends as they held him down on the table so a doctor could sew up a gash in his leg with no painkiller? Have you ever been in a village where there was no pain medication and you heard a midwife say, "Oh, hush, you're just having a baby"? Have you ever known people who were so ill but they wouldn't go to the doctor because they didn't have $1 to pay for the examination, or who went but then couldn't buy the prescription that cost $5? They didn't have the money to save their own lives. Have you ever heard wailing in the night because someone has died, or lost a precious friend because of medical incompetence? Have you ever had your shoes spit on by a Muslim? Have you ever seen a truck driver stop on the side of the road, lay out a mat on the ground, get on his knees, and bow to Mecca? Have you ever seen hundreds of men lined up, bowing and praying in unison? Or seen women dressed in black with their entire heads and faces covered with black burqas? Have you ever heard the call to prayer 5 times a day from loudspeakers on the town mosque? Or had Muslim friends and you tried to find ways to influence them for Jesus? Have you ever met a witch doctor face to face? Have you ever seen people bowing to and worshiping a 4-year-old boy wearing a mask who would someday follow in his father's footsteps and be the next village witch doctor? Have you ever met people who believed that monkeys or fish were sacred because they were reincarnated relatives? Have you ever told the story of creation or the birth of Jesus to children for the very first time? Or told the story of creation to adults for the very first time? And then ask review questions to adults like, who was the first man? And you see grown men waving their hand and snapping their fingers because they want to be the one to answer. Have you ever shown the Jesus film and heard the crowd clap and cheer every time Jesus performed a miracle, and then just go wild when he appeared after the resurrection? Have you ever had 40 Sunday school teachers, many of them fairly new Christians, from 40 villages, sitting in your living room and tried to teach them how to teach children, and sent them out hoping and praying that they would be faithful in reaching those children? Have you ever seen people sit for 2 or 3 hours on just a narrow wooden bench with no backs, to listen to the Word of God being taught and preached? Have you seen someone walk 8 miles one way to come to a Bible study? Or have you seen men walk over 20 miles one way to come to a Bible Institute class? Have you ever had 50-year-olds calling you Papa and Mama because you were their spiritual parents? Have you seen the cultural change in a village as their mentality changed from superstitious animism to a Christian outlook of God is in control? Have you ever experienced the highest highs of your life and the lowest lows of your life all within 6 months' time? If you have, then you must have visited or lived on a foreign mission field and had your heart touched by the need as ours has been. And like us, you would never ever be the same.